Hello, my name is Mrs. Poirier. I wanted to welcome you all to Honors Biology, virtual biology for Block 2. So I have put together a little slideshow here to help share some ideas and some insights about the course with you, as well as to review the course information sheet with you. So I will put the video up on the classroom page, but I'll also put the slide deck up on the classroom page in case you want to spend a little bit more time going through any of the links that I talk about here. So first of all, I wanted to say that virtual biology is a totally new thing for me, as it is for you. So I know that we will figure it out together. Virtual anything is intended to be different than what we all experienced in the spring. So the spring we called remote, and this fall we're calling virtual. So imagine this virtual laboratory, if you will. I want to acknowledge the thing that probably does not need to be said, that this is a less than ideal experience for any of us. But outlook is everything. And so it is really important that we make the best of this situation that we're in. So despite the fact that you and I are not physically together, I want you to know that my commitment to teaching biology remains the same. That the students and the people are the most important thing of any school. So whether that school is live and in person or virtual. So you are a priority. I am looking forward to sharing your hopes and your fears with you this semester, just as much as I am looking forward to sharing some pretty awe-inspiring science with you. So virtual biology, here we come. This is my version of my virtual classroom. So I'm going to do my best to create this visual in my head and in your head and give ourselves the space to do the things that we would do in person, but in this virtual way. So look out, here comes Poirier Virtual Classroom. So I want to tell you a little bit about me and how I come to this experience here. That I am a biologist by trade, so I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's degree in marine biology, and I worked for a number of years in the field before I ever came to a classroom. So science and being a scientist, that's how I was trained. I've been here for 15 years, which is crazy for me to think about, but it's been a really great experience. So I've taught a wide variety of different electives. I've taught every level of biology, and I've taught AP biology the last couple of years. So I come from a science teacher family. My husband is a science teacher, a high school science teacher, and I have several sisters-in-law and brothers-in-law that are all science teachers too. So we have a lot of great things to share as a family. And one of the best things for me to share as a family are my two young boys, so Sam and Jonathan. They are 6 and 4, so Sam is doing a hybrid experience in his first grade classroom, and Jonathan goes to preschool. So I've got a couple other pictures here. I mentioned that my background is in science, and I have had a number of really cool research experiences over the years. So this is my 20-year-old self studying non-native species, so invasive crabs on the coast of Connecticut, so on Long Island Sound. I had similar research experiences in graduate school, all of which really drive the way that I approach the classroom. And then this is my crazy science family. So my husband, who again is a high school science teacher, and my 2 boys. We love to be outside. So a little bit of the philosophy of the course. I really place a strong emphasis on learning and not necessarily on grades. And I know that that's not the way that we all approach school, but I think the learning piece is really important to me. In terms of science, I'm looking to immerse you in an experience of building skills, so building science skills. And these skills are really transferable to any opportunity that you might have in the future. So working on questioning, on designing, on creating, on explaining, on arguing, on using math. So all of these skills that are hugely important for any scientist at work, that again are also good for any field that you might go into in the future. I wanted to let you know that my job in the classroom, I see myself as the learner in chief, which means that I don't know everything. The snippet of what I have come to know is pretty small compared to the wealth of knowledge that the world offers. So you and I really are in this together, and I am learning every day. So as learner-in-chief, I am looking forward to walking alongside of you, to struggling with you, to puzzling with you, to figuring stuff out with you. I am not the all-knower and the giver of information. So we really are in this together. I love to be your coach and to really guide you along the way, but I am not going to give you necessarily knowledge. We're going to work for it together. And so that really highlights my philosophy that you are a scientist. And maybe you know this, maybe you fully embrace it. Maybe you have aspirations to be an engineer or in the medical field, or you want to be some type of science researcher. Maybe you want nothing to do with that. I would still argue that these skills that any scientist uses on a daily basis are useful for any career opportunity that you might find yourself with in the future. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is to take an active role in sense making, in constructing, understanding, and ideas, and testing out those ideas. And they don't always work. I think failure is a really important part of the learning process, right? And it is not a state of being. You are not a failure always and forever. A failure might be a short little incident that we can learn from and overcome and try again in a different way. So what I don't want you to do is to take a passive role in just consuming and listening and then just retelling. That's not how this is going to work. So I encourage you to roll up your sleeves, to really dig in, even at times when it's not comfortable, right? And you're out of your comfort zone. Dig in, and I promise you that that process, that difficult work, is what makes something worth doing. Okay, so a little bit more about the nitty-gritty details of the course. So we have not taught biology in a semester in a long time. So please bear with us as we try to navigate this new way as well. But typically, a biology course has 4 major units of study. So we're going to attempt to do this all in a semester, and we'll kind of see how it goes. Unfortunately, you guys are the guinea pigs. But we're going to, down here at the bottom, we're going to start with a little mini unit, What is Life, sort of exploring the unity and diversity of life on Earth, and that will allow us to practice all of those science skills that I mentioned earlier. It'll allow us to sort of uncover what they are and to mess them all up, sort of work through them as we lay our roadmap for the semester. When we get into the meat of the matter, then we'll start with genetics, which is a very unconventional place to start. But all of science, all of biology is so interconnected that it almost doesn't matter where you start. So we're going to delve into DNA. We're going to start with genetics first. We'll couple that with evolution, and then we'll move on to matter and energy, which is really all of the cellular processes, so photosynthesis, cellular respiration, and ideally end our semester in the dead of winter with ecology. So again, we'll sort of see how that plays out. But I wanted to just note here for a moment when it comes to this beginning unit of what is life. We're going to spend about a week and a half on it, and I want you to go through your recycle bin at home and save any small containers. So this, for example, is like a cream cheese container, but maybe something plastic like this, like a yogurt container. It could be metal. Maybe you've got like a soup container or like canned tomatoes. It could, maybe glass. Maybe you have like a pasta jar. The shape doesn't matter, the size doesn't matter, but if you could hold on to a couple of these things, we're going to need them next week. Trust me on this. Okay, how will we learn? So this, again, is going to be different than what we did in the spring. So we will learn all together, and Zoom is going to be our medium. And you are going to be expected to have your camera on. So whenever you are participating with a large group or a small group, then we need to see you. And you don't have to see yourself, and there are lots of cool tricks. You don't have to see yourself, but we need to see you. So the beginning and ending of every class will be this all together, all 25 of us session. We will have some small groups, so we'll use some Zoom breakout rooms, which you may or may not have used last year. And again, whenever you're engaging with other people, it's expected that you have your camera on, and that will be the middle part of some classes. And there will also be some individual work. And whenever you're working individually, your camera does not have to be on, and that will be the middle part of some classes as well. So again, I mentioned that this is different than what we did in the spring. So setting up these agreements between ourselves is going to be important. So this is kind of how I'm approaching our time together, and I'm really looking for your input here in the next couple of weeks to set up some other agreements that might make the learning experience better for all of us. Okay, so where will we learn? We're going to be basing everything out of the Google Classroom page, and if you found this video, then you found the Classroom page, but I wanted to just share a couple of things with you. So I will have some topics that have some general resources, right? So I have some namings here for categories for topics, but the course, the entire high school has agreed that we're going to break everything down by week. So it will hopefully make the process easier of how you would find information. So I mentioned that we're going to be basing everything out of Zoom. So this link is what I'm going to try to use as my permanent Zoom classroom. So on Monday the 14th for second block, when you're looking to find me, then you would want to go to this link, and ideally I will be there too. So wait and see. All right, and I think that's all I wanted to show you on the Classroom page for now. I am going to use the stream just for announcements, so you're not going to see any assignments in the stream, so you would have to click on that classwork button to see what's going on day by day. Okay. All right, the course syllabus is something that is posted on the Classroom page as well, and I know that you can read, so thank goodness I'm not going to read it to you, but I did want to share just a couple of things. We do have some expectations for honors students, and if you were an honors science student last year, then these are going to be the same. So we expect that you're an independent learner or you're working on it, right? Maybe you're not all of these things right now, but these are the types of things that we're looking to develop. That you are a high quality writer and that you have a persistent work ethic. So you are prepared, you are thorough, you are organized. Whenever you are absent from class, you are going out of your way to communicate, and perhaps most importantly, especially in this virtual world, you're exhibiting ethical behavior. So you're doing your own work, especially group work, right? It's expected that you're going to do your own thing, even when you're working with a group. What you need for this year for biology, you do need some type of notebook, and we can talk more about this, but you might have a physical notebook. So you might have one of these guys, right? Like maybe you're writing down like the goal and the important points of learning from each class. Maybe you're just going to do everything digitally and you're going to have a digital notebook. Maybe you've got a folder or one Google Doc that you're going to put everything in. If you're going to choose to go the digital route, then it's really important that your Google Drive is super organized. So I might encourage you before the school year even starts that you're creating a folder for 2020, 2021. You're creating subfolders for every course that you're teaching. Within every course, you're creating more subfolders for units. So that system of organization is really important. And if you want to talk about that more, we should get together during Flex. You do need a calculator for biology. So it's just a basic 4-function calculator. So if you have one of these, great. If not, you can use your phone, right? So a phone can serve as a 4-function calculator. You might want, especially if you're doing a physical notebook, so some coloring implements or a highlighter to just really help you to process and prioritize information. In this document, we've got some virtual classroom expectations, and so these really go along with how we're going to get our work done all together on Zoom. So if you want to read through those expectations, again, when I link the document on, or pause the video and read through them, but we can talk about them more when we get together. And again, if we need to tweak or add anything here to make sure that it's working for us, then we will do that. Okay. On to evaluation. So all biology courses and most courses at the high school this year are using this model where formative assessments, so that those things that are for learning, they are practice-based, will be worth 20% of your overall grade, and summative assessments, which are intended to measure what you know and what you can do, are worth 80% of your overall grade. This doesn't mean that it's just tests and quizzes. You know, those traditional tests and quizzes are probably not going to work so well in this virtual world. But those assignments that are individually targeted to see what you know and what you can do will fall into that category. We do not do extra credit, so it is really just those assignments that are offered during the course. There is a somewhat of an altered late policy that we're working with this year. Again, something that is more department-wide and school-wide. So things are due when they're due, unless, there's always an unless, you're communicating. And that really is the golden rule of school, especially in this system. So please, please, please communicate with me early, communicate with me often, especially if you're having issues or you don't think that you can meet a deadline. If you don't communicate with me, then please pause the video and read through the penalties. So I would rather not penalize you. I really want you to advocate for yourself and to communicate your needs to me. And if you choose to not do that, then these penalties will occur. Because 80% summative is so huge, right? That's a really big part of your grade. If you fail, right? I said before that failure is a really important part of the learning process. It's not the end of the world. We can try again. So we do offer reassessment. So if you score below what we deem to be a level 3, which we correlate to an 85%, if you score below an 85%, then there is a path forward. So if you are talking to me, if you are doing what I'm asking you to do, and if there's no reason that you should score less than an 85% on your overall grade. Okay, it's a long video. Here I go. So just some important reminders. I'm going to say it again. Communication is really important, that we give respect to one another, peer to peer, peer to teacher, teacher to student, respect all the way around. We give each other grace because this is new for all of us. It's going to be messy, that we just give each other that wide berth of just working through the things that we're working through. It's going to be really important for all of us to establish some boundaries, that there's something fun that you're going to do every day, that you walk away from your computer. Maybe you make a vow after 7 p.m. I'm not doing any schoolwork. My goal is to not give you more homework. Right? All the work that you're doing is at home anyway. So I'm going to try to make it doable all during that working class block of time. So if you choose not to use that time super wisely, then you might have some homework. There might be instances of finishing up little things, but there is, we all need to separate, to unplug, to walk away from the screen. I'm not going to give you homework intentionally. and that we try to maintain a positive outlook. Whatever this is not forever. And if we are positive about it, it's going, or as best we can, it's going to make it easier for all of us. All right, so the last thing I wanted to say is please connect, so communicate. Email is a great way to reach me. I'm also on Instagram, so I somehow still want to share student work. I don't know how I will do that, but I like to share science-related things that I find in the world. So check me out on Poirier Biology. I also have a Google site. So this is a community-facing, a forward-facing platform that your parents could log on to, that I will post work on and due dates on. So it's a way to communicate with the outside world. So you might want to bookmark that website and also share that with your parents. All right, you guys, you made it through this first crazy super long video, so thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on Monday, and before then, after then, please reach out with questions or concerns. Whatever I can do to help you out and to make this semester a good one, please let me know. Thank you so much. See you soon.